If you're tired of being stuck out in the forest or places where there's no service and you can't call your friends, then keep on watching because I've got the perfect solution for you. So they just sent us this recently so we can give our honest feedback on it, and I'm glad they did because not too long ago we were out in Yosemite and our parties decided to go two separate ways. We were going to meet up, and anybody who's been out to Yosemite or other national forests, you can get mixed up pretty easily. We spent the next hour wandering around until we finally found each other, and I'm grateful we did. But if we would have had these little walkie-talkies right here, would have been no issue at all. A couple things about these is these are not kids' toys. These are actual walkie-talkies that work really well, and this is basically what comes with it. There's a charger right here, a block, so you can charge them both at the same time, and then of course the cord. And I read this whole entire thing here so you don't have to. There's a ton of different settings and stuff on there, so you could really customize these, from changing the color of the background to listening to NOAA, like the weather service, so you can turn it on and it'll tell you
around 51.
like what's going on in that area as far as like weather updates or flood warnings and all kinds of stuff like that. You can also turn it to radio if you happen to want to listen to the radio while you're out there. You can get in whatever local channels are around. And then the other cool thing is there's a bunch of different channels, but within those channels there's like coded, it's almost like a privacy channel. So you can have, say, channel 2, but then if the other walkie-talkie is on channel 2, CTC1, they won't connect. So you have to match up the channel number, which is like the big channel, and then the small number next to it if you want to be able to connect. And they do that so if you're out in the wild or out in the area where there's a bunch of other radios, you guys aren't talking over each other with different parties with the same radios on the same frequencies, which is really helpful. And a really helpful tip is once you get on the channel you and your family are going to use, you're going to want to go ahead and push the menu button for 3 seconds, and that's going to lock you guys in, so when you're out walking around and stuff you don't accidentally change the channel, because that happened to my wife and I when we were testing it. I had to call her on the phone because we had lost connection because one of us had changed the CTC. So definitely lock that in so there's no worry once you're out in the wild. There's also a couple different settings on here. There's Vox, which is if you're busy, you can clip it on and then it'll be voice activated, so you just start talking and then it'll alert the other party. There's also a call button, which is going to call the other person to get their attention. And then inside that there's also a vibration mode, so you can turn that on if you want to kind of be in stealth mode, and where you just have the vibrate instead of the loud noise, which is really helpful. A couple other things about it too is you can put headsets on this as well, so it's not super loud if you're out somewhere where you're trying to stay quiet. You can plug a headset in, it'll go right into your ears, so it's not like a real loud thing if you're out in the wilderness hunting or something like that and you don't want to scare something away. Overall though, these are really nice. They're waterproof, they're very durable, and I think the range is like up to 4 or 5 miles. Now that's going to depend on where you're at. So if you're on open waters, it's going to go much further than if you're in Yosemite and there's a giant granite mountain in between you, or whether there's trees or the weather. So just like any radio, there's a bunch of different obstacles that can affect the long-term range or not. A couple other things is there is a limit on here, so if you're talking more than 200 seconds, it'll do a little bit of a beep and then it'll shut off. That's to protect the battery, and so you're not just like accidentally leaving the talk button on and flooding the airways. The cool thing too about being able to change this background here is you can also change it to where there's no backlight, so that's pretty cool. What other things do? There's a lot of things you can do on here. You can change the power mode on there, obviously turn the volume up or down, and we're actually going to take it out and test it. So we've been testing it on the property. We live on 40 acres, and so far we've had no issues. We've gone from one side to the other, and it comes in crystal clear, and it's really nice. Okay, like I said, I'm going to test it, and right now is the perfect time because you can see we're in a storm. In fact, we just lost a tree back there. We're going to test it and see if my wife can hear me. Got to do this quick because I'm getting soaked. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Nice. This is coming in clear over here as well. See, look, it's all wet. So really, the walkie-talkie's waterproof, but I'm not. So I'm going to get back in before lightning or something happens. But this thing does work really well. I just wanted to test it to show you guys that even in conditions like this, it's working pretty great. Now I'm going to go back in before I get too soaked. So yeah, if you're looking for a high quality walkie-talkie, then I would definitely check these ones out.